Bordering Canada on the east and a maritime boundary with the Russian Federation on the west, Alaska is the largest American state when it comes to total area. In fact, it's bigger than Texas, California, and Montana combined. Yet with an area of 1.72 million square kilometers, Alaska has just over 732,000 people calling it home. This can be quite surprising for a state as beautiful as Alaska already is. So why is nobody living in Alaska? Harsh climate. If there's anything Alaska is known for, it's the extreme climate. The weather conditions in this northernmost U.S. state can be extreme and unforgiving, making it difficult for individuals to establish permanent settlements. During the long winter months, Alaska experiences freezing temperatures that can plummet well below 0 degrees. Blizzards, strong winds, and heavy snowfall are common occurrences, creating dangerous conditions for everyday life. Traveling and commuting are often hazardous as the state becomes a winter wonderland. The climate often takes an ugly turn, and Alaskans are left to sort out extensive preparations for the extreme cold that awaits. Winterizing homes and cars become the norm, adding extra burden to everyone's pockets. Along with the bone-chilling winters, Alaska faces another climatic challenge: its relatively short summers. While the summer months bring longer daylight hours, allowing for extended periods of sunlight, the temperatures are still quite cool. The growing season for crops is shorter, making it difficult to cultivate crops or sustain a reliable food source for communities. But that's not all just yet. The combination of cold temperatures, persistent fog, and extreme rainfall can hinder outdoor activities and limit the amount of time people can spend outdoors. The harsh climate of Alaska also poses risks to human health. Exposure to extreme cold can lead to hypothermia and frostbite. In fact, hypothermic deaths in Alaska are 10 times higher than in any other part of the USA. Geographical isolation. Geographically, Alaska is incredibly remote. It's made up of vast wilderness areas with towering mountains, icy glaciers, and wide open spaces, which make it hard to get to and travel around. Transport costs play a vital role in Alaska's geographical isolation. Due to its remote location and rugged landscapes, transportation expenses can be quite high. These high costs often stop Alaskans from driving unless absolutely necessary. This isolation extends to the importation of basic goods. Shipping items to Alaska can be expensive, which drives up the cost of essential supplies such as groceries and household items. As a result, Alaska's cost of living is 29% higher than the rest of the United States. Healthcare and emergency services also face challenges in Alaska's isolated regions. The limited number of healthcare facilities and professionals means that people may have to travel long distances to access medical care. In case of medical emergencies, Alaska doesn't favor the sick. You might find yourself waiting hours for an emergency ambulance to arrive or simply reaching the hospital on your own if the weather is favorable. The state is dotted with mountains, glaciers, and rivers, making transportation and infrastructure development challenging. Building roads, bridges, and other essential structures can be expensive and time-consuming due to the difficult terrain. Mental isolation. Alaska's isolation doesn't just end with geography. You'll find traces of mental isolation in the mental health of most Alaskans. After all, the sense of being far away from bustling cities and the lack of easy access to amenities and social connections can create a profound sense of isolation. Alaska's remote location and vast distances contribute to this feeling of mental isolation. Many communities are separated by hundreds of miles of wilderness, making it challenging to travel or connect with others. The absence of nearby neighbors and limited access to services like healthcare or entertainment can leave individuals feeling cut off from the rest of the world. Moreover, Alaska's long and harsh winters can worsen the sense of mental isolation. Extreme weather conditions often restrict outdoor activities, leaving people confined to their homes for long periods. With limited social interactions and a lack of community events, it can be challenging to combat feelings of loneliness and isolation. Another factor that contributes to mental isolation in Alaska is the scarcity of population density. With few people living in the state, it becomes difficult to find and form social connections. Schools, workplaces, and other communal gathering places are scarce, making it challenging for individuals, especially young people, to interact and build relationships. Alaska is also notorious for its unreliable internet and phone services, so there's simply no way to connect with others as much as humans need to. Lack of proper education. We've all heard stories of our elders trekking miles for quality education, but it's far from fantasy in Alaska. Did you know that receiving basic education is nothing short of an adventure in America's last frontier? The vastness of the state and the challenges it presents make it difficult for students to access quality education, ultimately impacting the decision to live in Alaska. Students often face long distances and problems to reach schools. The remote locations and limited infrastructure make it quite a journey to get to educational facilities. Imagine having to wake up extra early just to catch a bus or even drive to school. Due to the low population in some areas, schools struggle to provide a wide range of educational resources and extracurricular activities. This lack of diversity and opportunities can hinder students' academic growth and overall learning experience. You're often stuck with studying a range of generic subjects instead of being provided with a diverse range of specialized subjects. The limited availability of educational opportunities can also lead to what we call a brain drain. Talented and ambitious individuals often leave Alaska to pursue better options elsewhere. They seek colleges and universities with extensive programs and greater access to resources. High unemployment. When it comes to job options, Alaska has limited opportunities. Industries like fishing, tourism, and natural resource extraction dominate the job market. While these industries provide employment, they often require specialized skills or come with inherent dangers. Let's crunch some numbers. The average household income in Alaska is at a staggering 7.3%, which is much lower than in other states. On the other hand, the cost of living is 29% higher than the national average. This leads to Alaskans struggling to make ends meet and taking on multiple jobs just to be able to survive modestly. The remote locations, extreme weather conditions, and rugged terrain pose risks in various industries. Jobs like fishing or working in the oil and gas sector can be physically demanding and potentially hazardous. When job opportunities are limited and the number of job seekers outweighs the available positions, it creates a tough job market for residents. It also contributes to higher crime rates and drug abuse amongst other problems. Who would want to stay in that kind of place? Lack of leisurely amenities. The scarcity of leisurely amenities, such as cultural events, shopping malls, and public spaces, plays a significant role in the sparse population of Alaska. These amenities are essential for relaxation, happy moods, and a sense of community. Leisurely amenities contribute to the ability to relax and unwind. Cultural events such as concerts, plays, and festivals offer opportunities for individuals to enjoy entertainment and experience a change of scenery. Without such events, residents may find it challenging to engage in recreational activities that help reduce stress and promote well-being. The average American spends at least 4.5 hours a day in leisure time, going to malls or hanging out with friends in the park. For many Alaskans, this is a pure dream. With weather conditions, difficult roads, and a lack of leisure buildings, there's not a lot for locals to do to unwind. The lack of leisurely amenities also affects the ability to be physically active. Facilities such as gyms, sports centers, and recreational areas encourage movement and exercise, promoting a healthier lifestyle. In the absence of these amenities, Alaskans find it challenging to engage in physical activities and maintain an active routine. Dangerous living conditions. Alaska's rugged and untamed nature brings with it various hazards that contribute to its sparse population. The lack of quick emergency services such as ambulances or police and the presence of dangerous risks play a significant role in discouraging people from living in this state. Alaska's vast wilderness exposes residents to hazards such as wildlife encounters and natural disasters. The state is home to bears, moose, and other potentially dangerous animals that can pose risks to human safety. With over 130 active volcanoes in Alaska, the region is prone to earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and severe weather conditions, including blizzards and avalanches. The remoteness and limited access to emergency services make it challenging to respond swiftly in times of crisis. The absence of quick emergency services like ambulances and police adds to the risks faced by Alaskans. Due to the state's large landmass and low population density, emergency responders may be located far away from the scene of an incident. This can lead to delays in receiving urgent medical care or assistance during emergencies, putting lives at risk. In remote areas, residents often rely on community members and limited resources for immediate help. High cost of living. The high cost of living in Alaska is a significant obstacle for many people, contributing to the state's sparse population. Several factors drive up the cost of living, making it challenging for people to sustainably reside in the region. One of the primary cost drivers in Alaska is heating expenses. The state's cold climate necessitates extensive heating during the long winters. The cost of heating homes can be substantial as individuals rely on various heating sources such as oil, gas, or electricity to keep their homes warm and comfortable. Winterizing homes and cars is another expense unique to Alaska. Winterization involves preparing properties and vehicles for harsh winter conditions, which can include insulation, weather stripping, and other measures to conserve heat and prevent damage. These winterization costs add to the overall cost of living in the state. The importation of goods is a significant contributor to the high cost of commodities in Alaska. The state's remote location and limited local production make it necessary to import many essential items, including groceries, household goods, and electronics. These imported goods often come with higher price tags due to transportation costs and the need to account for the challenges of reaching remote regions. Besides, travel costs can be substantial in Alaska. The vast differences between communities and the limited make air travel a common and sometimes costly means of transportation. Whether it is for visiting family, accessing healthcare services, or leisure travel, the expenses associated with air travel can significantly impact the cost of living in Alaska. Plus, with relatively low wages and seasonal jobs being the norm for many residents, the high cost of living becomes even more pronounced. Everyday expenses like housing, utilities, and transportation take a larger chunk out of people's earnings.